up for this team. David Cutcliffe's team wants more. They won their 7th game last week against NC State. Now looking to reach the 8-win plateau for just the 3rd time in the last 50 years. Duke will receive to start the second half. And another touchback. Duke will start from its own 25, and we take a look at today's game track brought to you by Taco Bell. Miami scored the first 10 points of the game. Stacey Coley, a 79-yard punt return for a touchdown. He would later leave the game with an injury. Stephen Morris, 206 yards passing, a touchdown and a pick. And Duke, unlike the last couple of games, much better quarterback play in the first half.
Yeah, and Stephen Morris actually played well in the first half. What Miami doesn't have is the splash. They don't have the explosiveness, and I don't think they're efficient enough offensively to drive the ball consistently well to get points.
Anthony Boone starts the second half at quarterback for Duke. Hands off to Jalay Duncan. And the rushing attack has been there for Duke. Duncan pushed out of bounds by Deion Bush. A gain of 18. And Duke with 190 rush yards in this contest.
And some tremendous blocking out of that zone read by the quarterback, Anthony Boone. And blocking outside, out wide was tremendous at the point of attack as well.
You saw that Duke averaging 7.2 yards per rush. They'll keep it on the ground again. This is Duncan, and he gets a couple. It's not one guy either in the ground game. We've seen Duncan, we've seen Snead, we've seen Kennett. Shaquille Powell has been a factor.
Yeah, Duncan's more of the workhorse type of guy, and Snead has that, you know, that burst factor that changes the angles of the defense. We saw that effective in the first half.
Boone to Duncan, makes the catch across midfield, and he's going to be close to a Duke first down. They're going to measure. Well, Kelly, what about this Miami defense, which struggled the last couple of games? And right now, Tracy Howard, a little slow to get up, the sophomore corner.
And that could be big because Howard was matched up on Crowder, the other number 3, Duke's go-to receiver in that first half. A lot of press man situations that I thought Duke could do a better job of taking advantage of. If Howard is out, who's going to be matched up on Crowder, number 3? Right now it's Gunter matched up down at the bottom. There are opportunities to take shots if you want to for Duke offensively.
Boone throws near side. Crowder skirts out of bounds away from Gunter after a gain of 6. Kelly, defensively for Miami, we've seen struggles against Florida State. You can chalk up Florida State to just being maybe the best team in the country. Then against Virginia Tech, a little bit more concerning. What are you seeing defensively from Miami so far?
I think they're just having a hard time at the point of attack. The defensive line of scrimmage in particular is just not getting off their blocks efficiently enough.
Here's Crowder. He gets a block. He gets a first down and scampers down the sideline. Marked out of bounds at the 33-yard line. It's a gain of 10.
So we have to keep in mind of who Duke is offensively if they pick up the pace and go tempo after that big play. But they're an 11 personnel team, 3 wides a tight end, but they want to run it so they can throw it when they have the advantage.
This is Snead. He's taken down at the 30-yard line. Gain of about 3.
You know, we've talked about how Miami, when they have the ball, like the matchup up front with their massive offensive line. I think Duke likes the play of their offensive line right now as well. A veteran group that just simply isn't fooled very much.
It's a group that's played together a lot over the last couple of seasons. This is Snead again. He gets to the outside. He's got a first down. And right now, this Miami defense has no answer for the Duke ground game.
And very efficient running by whoever the running back is. That time it was Josh Snead, and He just presses the line of scrimmage and just subtly slides out to the edge, and there's running room when he got out wide.
More than 200 yards already on the ground for Duke. It's still early in the third quarter. Boone will throw. There's Brandon Braxton. And Braxton down to the 5-yard line. It's 1st and goal. Braxton, a guy who played defensive back last year, moved back to wide receiver, which is where he started his career. Another senior playing his final home game for Duke. On 1st and goal, Boone takes it to the 1.
Anthony Boone, the ball carrier.
And Boone took a shot at the goal line. He gets up and doesn't look any worse for wear, but that was one of the first times, and we're going to see Brandon Connect come back into the game, but this time he pulls it. Was the right thing to do, and then he hands it off to his compadre, number 18, to see if he can close it once again.
Connect's got 2 rushing touchdowns in the game. He'll try to make it 3. He does. With that last rushing touchdown, Brandon Connect ties the Duke all-time record for rushing TDs. He and Tom Davis both with 28. Davis played at Duke in the early 40s. And look at that scoreboard. That is not a typo. Second half in Durham. Duke with an 8-point lead on Miami. In the first half, we showed you the history of Duke football, part 1. Time for part 2. Pick it up in the late 80s. Steve Spurrier, who was the offensive coordinator in the early 80s, returns to be the head coach. A winning record in the 3 seasons under Spurrier. In 1989, Duke won 8 games, went to a bowl game. 94, Fred Goldsmith's first year. Duke goes 8-4, goes to a bowl game. And then from 95 to 2007, Duke went 22 and won 25. They went winless 4 times. This program has not had a lot of history. It's not Miami with national championships and Heisman winners and first-round picks. But David Cutcliffe, to give you an idea, essentially inherited Duke football, which does not have a great history, at rock bottom. And he's brought this program to now a point where they're looking at 8 wins and they're looking at knocking off teams like Virginia Tech, who they beat, and Miami today.
And he has a team that does exactly what he wanted to start this second half. You want the football to have a drive, just like Duke did offensively. Brandon Connect paid it off. 10 plays, 75 yards, and essentially they reached inside the chest of Miami and tried to rip their heart out.
Connect has had a hand in all 4 Duke touchdowns. Here's Elder. He's lit up as he crosses the 20-yard line. Tonight, Alabama, the #1 team in the BCS standings, takes on Mississippi State. Bama can clinch a share of the SEC West title with a win or an Auburn loss. And you know, Bama, go back to that game in September 14th, they give up 42 points to Texas A&M. In the 7 games since, the Tide have allowed a total of 43 points.
Lights out, no doubt about it. And you knew that was coming. They had to replace a lot of people on that defensive side.
It's time for Miami to see if they've got an answer. Morris throws downfield, dangerous pass, and nearly intercepted by Duke. Singleton, who already has a pick, nearly had #2.
Yeah, very fortunate that that ball wasn't picked off. The safety comes off the hash and could have, probably should have had the pick, number 33 Singleton. The corner route didn't back up the safety. The safety was just free to break on that football, and that could have been disastrous for Miami. Duke knows they can win this game. I question whether Miami believes they can win it.
Up the middle, there's Clements. And he's tackled near midfield, a gain of 28 yards. Eduardo Clements, primarily Miami's 3rd down guy with a big game.
And Clements brings a little bit more pop to the game. In this particular case, it's just a zone running play up front, and that big offensive line just leans on people. Miami needs chunks. There's one of them right there.
Especially in the running game with Duke Johnson out for the year. Here's Herb Waters. Waters breaks one. There's chunks. And Miami is a two-point conversion away from tying this game. Well, Kelly, you wanted chunks. He got two big chunks.
Miami has speed to burn, and they just need to get the speed into space, and that's what happens. We saw Edwards, and then the big play right there on a screen that actually hasn't worked well, didn't work well in the first half. It worked impeccably well right there.
Too early for the two-point conversion here?
I think so. I think you don't chase points until the fourth quarter.
Matt Gudis boots the point after. We've got a one-point game. So Duke on its first drive of the second half marches down the field and scores. Miami responds with a couple of haymakers, and it's a one-point game again. Herb Waters' 50-yard touchdown catch was a much-needed response for this Miami offense.
And the key was actually two offensive linemen working their tails off. Watch the two offensive linemen, the left side, Feliciano and Flowers. There's block number one. And then Feliciano continues to work down the field, and this cuts the safety to the ground. That's how a 3 or 4 yard play turns into a long touchdown. Exactly what the doctor ordered for Miami offensively.
Duke has not had a chance to return a kickoff today. All of Pat O'Donnell's kicks have gone into and out of the end zone. They'll have a chance here. Devon Edwards. Edwards tackled shy of the 30 at a 100-yard kickoff return for a TD last week. We check in with the studio.
All right, Anish, Florida State having no problem with your alma mater. Syracuse posing no challenge today. James Wilder Jr. into the end zone, 45-zip, Kevin Carter.
This is just a straight lead right up the middle. James Wilder does the rest.
Winston's day looks done, guys. 19 of 21, 277, 2 touchdowns.
Think about it. Florida State could very well have the winner of this game in Charlotte for the ACC championship. Duke or Miami, whoever wins has the inside track. Blue Devils on the ground. Josh Snead to the 34. A gain of 6. Duke closing in on 220 rush yards in this game. The ground game has been their chief weapon on offense. Gain of 2 that time for Snead. It'll bring up 3rd down and short.
And you would think it brings
Brandon
Connett time.
And there he is.
And Boone's been staying on the field, but this is all about a designed run by Connett, typically over to the heavy side most of the time. And remember, he's a tight end playing quarterback right now.
Duke 5 of 7 on 3rd downs. Much better today than the previous 2 games. Connett trying to get to the outside, and he stopped. Denzel Perryman, Miami's leading tackler, with a big play on 3rd down, and Duke's going to have to punt.
And that was just a poor decision by Brandon Connett, and we don't see it very often. Go ahead and let it roll, but be prepared to stop it. Right there, stop it.
Where's he going?
Right up in there is an absolute freeway to the safety, and he tries to bounce it. If you want to err on the side of staying inside, and he made the mistake of going outside right there.
Good punt by Will Monday. Herb Waters from inside his own 20, and Waters lit up. There have been some hard hits in this game on special teams. Garrett Patterson dealing the punishment there. Miami ball.